let's talk about some cricket. And there's been a lot of cricket, or most of it, of course. IPL cricket.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps do you want to run us through the 10 games that have happened in the last week since our last podcast?
I'll take a deep breath, boys. They're doing a lot of double headers. They're trying to get through this schedule quite quickly. So rather than going, taking an in-depth look at each game, we'll just go through the results quite quickly, highlight any players that did well. So going back to our last pod, match 34, we had the Knight Riders take on the Mumbai Indians. They came away with a win there. Sunil Narine, man of the match. He actually was man of the match in 2 of the games over the last week. Match 35 saw the top of the table Chennai Super Kings defeat Royal Challengers Bangalore. Virat Kohli had 53 there, and Devdutt Padikkal 70. Dwayne Bravo 3 for 24 and a man of the match there. Match 36, we saw the Delhi Capitals, who we will be speaking to on Saturday. They had us in the first iteration of the IPL. So check that out if you want to see us talking to the Delhi Capitals Saturday night. They got the win over the Rajasthan Royals. Shreyas Iyer 43 and a man of the match in that one. Match 37 saw Monkeys Punjab Kings get a win against the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Jason Holder, man of the match in a low-scoring, bit of a snooze fest game in that one. The 38th match saw the Chennai Super Kings get another win against Kolkata Knight Riders. Ravi Jadeja, the man they call Jadoo, man of the match in that one. Match 39, Royal Challengers Bangalore got a win against Mumbai Indians. Kohli got 50 again, and our boy Glenn Maxwell 56 and a man of the match in that one. Match 40 saw Sunrisers Hyderabad get a win. They're only their second win of the IPL season against the Rajasthan Royals, the boys in pink. Dave Warner, a lot of noise around him, not selected again, and Sunrisers winning. So can't imagine that Warner gets another bat for Sunrisers Hyderabad. Jason Roy, 60 and a man of the match in that one. Sanju Samson, 82 in a losing side for the Rajasthan Royals. And then on the home stretch, Kolkata Knight Riders had a win against our Delhi Capitals. Good to see Steve Smith out there, 39 opening for Delhi, but Sunil Narine, that man that I mentioned before, 2 for 18 and a man of the match. Match 42, Mumbai Indians defeated Punjab Kings. Kieran Pollard, the big man, 2 for 8 with the ball and a quick 5-15, getting the win there for the Indians. And match 43, finally, Royal Challengers Bangalore defeating Rajasthan Royals. Glenn Maxwell in the runs again, 50 not out, and Yuzvendra Chahal 2 for 18. Thanks for sticking with us, boys. That was a lot to get through and a lot to get through quickly. I think the more interesting thing to talk about is the table. Monks, if you wouldn't mind bringing that up. Sunrisers Hyderabad, they've only had 2 wins, I believe.
Yeah, 4 points.
Yeah. So it's the top 4 that's kind of starting to take shape now. We've got Chennai Super Kings and Delhi Capitals up there. They're all but assured of playing finals.
Yep.
Royal Challengers Bangalore are in 3rd. Monks, have you got the table there and the points?
Yeah. Sorry, Monks, sorry, I jumped in.
Yeah, no, you're right. Sorry. So at the top of the table, both on 16 points, and then Bangalore is sitting at 14. Behind them at 4th and 5th, we've got the Knight Riders and Mumbai Indians both sitting at 10. And after that, we've got the Punjab Kings at 8, and then Rajasthan Royals at 8 as well, 6th and 7th. And yeah, as you mentioned, Hyderabad is sitting down there at 4th, with 4 points, sorry.
Yeah, and I think each club needs to play 5 more matches.
I think a little bit less. So they play 14 total, and most have played 10 or 11. So 3 or 4, I think they're.
Oh, sorry. Let me count. Yeah, 3. I've got Delhi Capitals with 3 more matches.
Yeah, and I think some have got 4 in hand. So in summation, we've got the top 2. I think the Super Kings and the Capitals will finish 1 and 2. The order
top 4 at least. They can't drop out of there.
Yeah, that's right. They'll be playing finals. Yep. Royal Challengers Bangalore should be playing finals. They're 4 points ahead of 4th place, and then we've got a tight contest for 4th place between the Knight Riders, the Mumbai Indians, the Punjab Kings, and the Rajasthan Royals. And it's sayonara to David Warner's Sunrisers Hyderabad.
And the Mumbai Indians, I think, are an interesting one with their squad and where they've positioned themselves in the past finals wise. So interesting to see. And they haven't great on form. I think the Knight Riders have probably had the best form. They've won 3 of their last 5.
And
4, honestly.
Since our last pod, getting a few wins there for the men in purple, the Knight Riders. Off the back of some really good bowling from Sunil Narine. So getting down to the business end now, every game counts, obviously in the IPL, but when you get to this stage, that they tend to count a little bit more. And a really interesting, time for viewing for us. We were a little bit worried about the time that the games would be played now that they're in the Emirates. The time zones compared to over here in Australia tends to be a little bit more favourable to us when they're in India, but there have been a lot of these double headers. So the early games tend to be about an 8 p.m. start over here. So if anyone wants to catch a bit of IPL cricket watching Down Under, there's not too much other cricket going on at the moment. Get around the IPL, the early games and the double headers. They start around about 8 o'clock.
Yes. Well, you mentioned other cricket games going on, and the only other games happening for the Australians is the Shield. The Shield has meant to have kicked off. The Queensland versus Tasmania game was postponed because it was meant to be in Brisbane, and Brisbane had cases. So Tassie team were worried they'd get stuck in hotel quarantine. But I think they're going to sort that out and potentially move it and move the guys. But we did end up getting a Shield game, luckily enough. That was between. Who was it between?
WA and SA.
So, and that was in Adelaide.
In Adelaide there. So thank God, that we got a Shield game. We've seen very, very little red ball cricket for Aussie fans with the Ashes just around the corner. The last time that the Australian Test team played was the Gabba. That was the infamous loss. Losing of the fortress, the Gabatoir, if you will, when we saw Washington Sundar out there spanking us around. So that's the last time that we played Test cricket with the Ashes, hopefully kicking off in less than 2 months. So really interesting matchups. These Sheffield Shield games is a chance for some of these Australian hopefuls to put their hand up and show the selectors that they're worthy of being included in this first game of the Ashes. And all the hopefuls scored runs in terms of the bats. Sean Marsh had 118. Don't count him out. He's older, but he's proven. And with the fitness of Will Pucovski and Tim Payne in question, wouldn't be surprised if Sean Marsh gets a nod in this side. Cam Green, put his name in there. He'll be playing. Unbelievable summer last year. He's been focusing on his red ball cricket. He had 106. Hilton Cartwright played for Australia a few years ago. I probably don't see him making this Ashes squad, but definitely putting his hand up with 121 not in this game. And Travis Head, the South Australian captain, had 163. Expect him to be in that Ashes.
He was dropped late, wasn't he? He didn't play that last game against India.
Yeah, I think he did get dropped. He did get dropped in the last one against India. He will be in the squad 100%. Whether or not he's in the first Test side, that probably depends on these next few Shield games. And I can't imagine 163 in his first outing has done him any harm in getting selected there. Just a quick note, we don't talk about women's cricket too much on the Esky here, but a Test match is being played. It's just kicked off between the Aussie women and the Indian women. We might have a quick look back at that next week.